Hello, friends. Welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. That's right, a second Bible study video. So if we start from the beginning of the New Testament, and now that we have our plan in place where we know we want to read the entire Old Testament to you guys from the NIV next year, and then the following year, it will take a 2-year time frame to go through every version of the Bible. So in 2026 and through 2027, we will read all of the KJV version of the Bible. Okay? So in order for that to work, in order to be just focused on the Old Testament when reading and giving you these videos. Now, I will be reading an Old Testament, a New Testament, Psalms, and a Proverbs personally every day. But for making these video purposes to share with the channel, there are 68 chapters in the New Testament that still have to be read. And you know what there is from as of this day that I'm recording this right now? 68 days for the rest of the year. So I think that's just me getting my marching orders. If you could do it, it requires you to read a chapter a day. Record a video for a chapter a day extra from the New Testament every day for the end of the year in order to start next year nice, fresh, and clean the way you like. And I prefer things tidy. So we are going to have a separate one. We are now in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. And we are going to go to verse, 25. Because we're just going to do a chapter a day until these 3 Gospels are completed. So, the genealogy of Jesus. Like any good Jew, Matthew was very much so concerned with genealogy. He's very detail oriented. This is the tax collector, so paying attention to the details is his job, and he's quite intelligent. So, the genealogy of Jesus. A record of genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac, the father of Jacob. Jacob, the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of Perez and Zariah, whose mother was Tamara. Perez, the father of Hezron. Hezron, the father of Ram. Ram, the father of Amminadab. Amminadab, the father of Nahshon. Nahshon, the father of Salmon. Salmon, or Salmon, however you want to say it. It's spelled like salmon, the fish. The father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz, the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed, the father of Jesse. Jesse, the father of King David. David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife. Solomon was the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the father of Abijah. Abijah was the father of Asa. Asa was the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat was the father of Jehoram. When we're in the Old Testament, you're going to get to hear about each and every single one of these people. Jehoram, the father of Uzziah, the father of Jotham. Jotham, the father of Ahaz. Ahaz, the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah, the father of Manasseh. Manasseh, the father of Amon. Amon, the father of Josiah. And Josiah, the father of Jeconiah and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babylon. So about 700, 700 BCE. 500 was the Assyrian. So you understand where we are. After the exile of Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel. Shealtiel, the father of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel, the father of Abidud. I think I'm saying that right. Abiud. Abida, the father of Elkim. Elkim, the father of Azor. Azor, the father of Zadok. Zadok, the father of Akim. Akim, the father of Elud. Elud, the father of Eleazar. Eleazar, the father of Mathan. Mathan, the father of Jacob. And Jacob, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Thus, there were 14 generations in all, from Abraham to David, 14 from David to the exile of Babylon, so that's 28, and then 14 from the exile to the Christ, right? So I would make it 32, right? At least I'm pretty sure. Sorry, 42. 42 generations from Abraham to Jesus. The birth of Jesus Christ. This is how the birth of Jesus Christ came about. His mother Mary was pledged to marry Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be with child through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was a righteous man and did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in his mind to divorce her quietly. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give him the name, she will give the birth to a son, verse 21. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus. See? We missed some of it. We've missed some of these footnotes. But C is Jesus is the Greek form of Joshua, which means the Lord saves. Just so you know where that particular translation from. And one of these had there an exile to Christ, that's a footnote of B, or Messiah. The Christ is Greek for Messiah. But in Hebrew, they both mean the anointed one. And then Jacona, A, that is, Jokian, also in verse 12. So they want to say, they're the same people. So that's valid. Okay. So he's to name him Jesus because he will save people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will be with child and will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which is D, is Isaiah 7:14, which means God is with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. But he had no union with her until she gave birth to a son, and he gave them the name Jesus. Now understand, in the Jewish culture, divorce was permissible. So if he had, Mary had given birth to a daughter, he would have been free to divorce her or do whatever else he wanted, and she could have moved on with her life. The one who was in real danger because of the pregnancy was Mary. And this gift that she gave us, we in the faith, where I at least do, Catholics most definitely do, and I'm not a Catholic, but I spent a fair time in my youth in and out of various Catholic churches. So, no problem with the church services in the least. My disagreements have to do, again, with the Protestant Christian and how we roll in different ways, and not necessarily the way they display their faith inside their church. Or churches are still sanctified. We should not be roaming around disrespecting them, any of that kind of stuff. I will happily attend a Catholic church service if I am so drawn to, and on occasion am. So, I agree with the term they use. the Immaculate Heart. Yes, it is the Immaculate Heart of Mary that is part of what made her amazing. She, through no circumstances other than agreeing to talk to an angel, like an angel of the Lord came to her, and they were like, we're going to handle it. And she was like, behold, I am a handmaiden of the Lord. That's a pretty blind faith, and it's a gift. But Joseph needed a little bit more convincing. But he was a good man. He wasn't looking to hurt or anything. In my mind, I like to believe that, he loved her. And so he was looking for reasons to say yes, and not looking for reasons to say no. And having that come to him so that he knows it was not her being unfaithful, but the will of God, is everything that he needed. That was what he was looking for. So God gave him the message he needed so he knew to continue. We call that a synchronicity when you're doing the metaphysics world thing, if you're not in the Bible world. I encourage you to look for the synchronicities today, friends, because I know when I find them, I understand that that's Creator talking to me, and I just dive headfirst in, like I did back in April when I started making these videos. Or I did actually back in December of last year when I started pulling the Bible out and reading it every day. So until tomorrow, friends, twice a day now.